In this video, we are going to talk about checking out the competition and everything you need to know about understanding what other sellers are on the listing and what that means for you in analysing the deal. So BuyBotPro has a whole section here on competition analysis. So this is one of the things that you'll want to pay attention to and you'll want to notice and look at when you're analysing your deal. So let's talk through it. Okay, so what this is telling you is this is the seller number. So the number at the top has usually got the buy box. And then it will tell you, if you hover over, the name of the seller that's got that product. And you can see that it's green. That means it's an FBA seller. So you can then see their price, the profit that your boss would make if they sold at that price, the ROI or the return on investment that your boss would make if they sold at that price, the number of reviews that that seller has, and if you hover over it, you can see how many of those reviews are positive. And then you can just work your way down the list, having a look at who the competition are. Now, the first thing to look at really is, or one of the first things to look at is how many stock there is. So can you see down here, it says 28 seller stock. So the top 10 sellers, so these sellers here, positions 1 to 10, have a total of 28 in stock. Now, if you look back up at your estimated sales, the estimated sales are 67 a month. So if you've got the top 10 sellers, and you can see that there are only 13 sellers in total, and the top 10 have got 28 in stock. So you can see that there's, compared to how many sales there aren't that many people with the products in stock. So that's obviously a great thing, because what sometimes you'll find is you'll come here and one of them will say 999, usually Amazon. So Amazon have got 999 in stock. So when you look at how many it sells a month and the fact that Amazon have got potentially 999 in stock, you can see why looking at the competition is really important. So this one, the competition looks great because we've got 28 in stock, you've only got 13 sellers, and it's selling 67 a month. So the odds are massively in your favour, or your boss's favour, when they're looking at selling this product. But what you also want to look at, you see you've got grey here are MF sellers. So an MF seller is grey, a blue seller is MF prime. And if it was Amazon, they would be orange, but Amazon aren't on this listing. But if they were, they would be orange. So what you're really looking for is the competitors, in terms of, if your boss is an FBA seller, then you're not too worried about what MF sellers are doing, because they're not your competition. They have a much longer delivery time and customers are likely to go to those sellers for different reasons. So if you're an FBA seller, you're interested in other FBA sellers. If your boss is an MF seller, then you're interested in other MF sellers and what prices they have. So let's look at it from both angles on this to help you. So let's say your boss is an FBA seller. You can see here you've got a little toggle where you can look at prime only. So obviously FBA is prime. So if you toggle that on, you can see that there's 9 prime sellers, and here they are. So these are the 9 prime sellers. So here you can see like that potentially there's £10 profit here, or $10, depending on whether you're working for a US guy or girl or a UK. All right, and the ROI is 50%. So even at this cheapest price, there's great profit and great return on investment. So you can look down here and see this guy, he's at $74.99. He's not really your competition. He's obviously holding out for everyone else to get out of stock, and then he's going to sell at a higher price. So he's not really your competition. So I would say your competition goes up to about here. So the first 5 are really your competition, because you can see then that the price goes up quite a lot more. So if there is good profit and good return on investment at this lower price, then focus on these sellers around this price because they are your competition. So as you can see, there's one here with 2 in stock, one with 4 in stock, 4 in stock, 2 in stock, 1 in stock. So there's only a few in stock there, but it's selling 67 a month. So this would be a great product in terms of just checking out the competition. So just from a competition point of view and a competition versus sales point of view, this would be a great product because you've only got really 5 sellers that are particularly any competition to you, and they don't have that much in stock when you compare it to the sales. Now let's pretend that you are let's say a MF seller. So let's go over here and have a look at MF sellers. Okay, so obviously now you've gone from, because on the prime one, the seller stock was at 78 because this guy here's got quite a few, and so's this guy here. But that's not too much of a worry, as I say, because they're not necessarily our competition. They're not competing at price down here, and there's 67 a month anyway, so we wouldn't worry too much about those. But if we go back to all offers, now if your boss was a merchant fulfilled seller, your competition is around here. So these grey people are your competition, really, because they're the people that are selling it, stocking it at home. They're not stocking it in Amazon's warehouse. So an MF seller is holding their stock somewhere other than Amazon's warehouse. So these two really are your competition. Now, this guy here, as an FBA seller, is selling lower than an MF seller. So this guy's a bit bonkers because he doesn't need to do that because he's selling at prime, which is next day delivery, and he's lower price than the people you've got to wait a few days to get the delivery for. So this man's bonkers. So this woman's bonkers. So you wouldn't want to go down to that price. That's a crazy price. So you'd come and look a bit more up here. But as an MF seller, here is your competition. These first few people, the cheapest, because as an MF seller, you can't compete on delivery because the stock's not at Amazon. So the delivery will take a lot longer. So you have to compete on price because you can't compete on delivery. So really an MF seller needs to be cheaper than an FBA seller in order to make sales. So as an MF seller, you're looking at these guys, but you also need to look at this person because he's bonkers and he's gone lower. So you look at that and think, can I make a profit, a decent profit at this low bonkers FBA seller price? Because he's gone too low. He should be up here in his pricing because he doesn't need to be selling this low. But yes, the answer is you've still got great profit, great ROI. So that's how you look at the competition when you're thinking about, analysing that competition and checking out the competition. How many people are around the price that I need to pay? Don't worry about all the sellers, just ones are around the price that you're going to sell at. In terms of FBA, are they FBA, are they MF? So check out that. Make sure to use your toggle. But that is how, and you might want to watch this video a couple of times because it needs to sink in about how to analyse your competition. So that's the correct way to analyse the competition using BuyBotPro, and it gives you all that data that you need just there.